Hello, this is Michelle with BellaHoot, and we're going to talk French strips today. So these are premium French laser blue, and this is what we're going to use as our example. And I got asked about this clear part down here about, if it's too short or too long for your natural nails. So we're just going to kind of go through it. The first thing you want to do is prep your nails. So you push your cuticles. You can file and smooth your edges, and then use an alcohol swab to wipe the oils and the shine off your nails, which I've already done that part. So now we have our strips, and you want to choose the strips of appropriate size. So I'm going to use this one on this finger and this one on this finger. And the trick is you don't want it to be over your cuticles. So if they're a little bit too big, you can trim them if you need to. Then you want to take this clear plastic coating off. This is just to protect the design. So we're going to take that off. Oops, it's taking off everything. Hold on. Let's start with just one since I'm looking through my phone, sorry, to do the video. So I'm going to hold the little silver part down so it doesn't take it off. So there's our clear plastic part off. That's really, really important. If you don't do that, your manicure will not last. So take that off. Those just go in the trash. Okay, so I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you on my natural nail, and then I'm going to put on just a full nail tip. It covers your full nail to try and show you if you have longer nails what you would do. So hopefully it'll all work out. Okay, so with the short nails, you can cut this in half because you don't need the whole thing. And what I'm actually going to show you is if this lined up appropriately. And I'm going to have some French design on there, okay? But my nails are actually pretty short, like my nail beds. So I really would have very little French on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is not only am I going to cut this strip in half. Now, if yours lines up good, you're all set. All you do is just apply it without trimming it. But since, see how very little French I'll even have on there, if any, I'm gonna trim it just a little bit to show you if you need to do that way, what you can do. Okay, so I don't need the whole strip. I'm just going to cut it in half. That way, if you wanted to, you could use this other side. You would just trim this part off and use it. Okay, and then I'm going to actually trim, and it doesn't need to be perfect because this is clear. So I'm just going to trim. If you notice, I don't need that much. I just want a little bit of extra French look on there. So I'm just going to trim a little bit of this edge off. So this is if your nail beds are too short for the clear and you need less clear on there. Just trim some of it off, okay? So I'm just going to use my orange stick to remove it. The less oils you get on the back, again, the longer your manicure will last. This is just easier for me. You don't have to do this. And you can apply. Again, your trick is you do not want your strip on top of your cuticles or your skin anywhere because then it won't last. So if you are trying to line it up with the arch of your nail where you can see, then you can start from the side. Okay, do you kind of see that? To where I know it's going to cover it up. Now, if it doesn't matter, or if you already know it's going to cover enough of it, you can start from the back and put that strip all the way against your cuticle, not over, against. Okay, so either way, you can either start from the side to make sure you're going to cover up the different color of your nail. Okay, and then we're just going to smooth it out. Okay, so there's my strip on there. I'm going to just push it a little further down over here, because that way it's on my nail and not my cuticle. And you just want to smooth this out. Now, I don't know if you can even tell on camera, because that's how hard it'd be for someone who's looking at your nails to tell. But right there, this strip is not all the way up against my nail. Okay? All the way up against my cuticle. There's some space right there. No big deal. It's clear. You can't even tell, right? So then you want to bend this down and file off your excess, or you can tear it. I don't like tearing it really because it leaves, you can do it this way. A lot of people like to do it this way. I just don't like leaving a little jagged edge. I don't know if you can see how it's kind of jagged. Let's see if I can show you what I don't like. Like it's not, there's still more left on there, and I I don't particularly like that method, so I'm just going to file off the excess and try not to knock my camera over in the meantime. But now see, since I trimmed it, I've got a little bit more of that French look on my natural nail, even though my nails are so short. Otherwise, I would have had very little showing. I'm just trying to get this little corner to either lay down or file off. It was just a little bit too big still. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take my cuticle. You can do this with your fingernail and again, just tear it off. Let me try that to show you, just easier. But you can take your cuticles, your nail scissors if you have them, and just cut it off. Okay, so there we go. So, but what I wanted to point out is just again how it doesn't matter if it's not all the way against there, because like I said, I don't even know if you could tell in the video, but I can see it myself that it's not all the way against the cuticle on the very bottom in the two corners. So it's not going to matter if you have a little bit of space on there. Okay, so that's for short nails, and that's for short nail beds. If you just don't have enough, if you have too much clear on this end, you can just trim some of it off. So this, we're going to apply just a full nail tip real quick. Sorry, this is taking so long. I was hoping this would be a little bit of a shorter video. This is my nail glue, which is probably glued shut. Hold on one second. Okay, there's my nail glue open, and we're gonna just put some glue on here. There we go. Sorry, I'm off camera. This is just to give me a little bit more length since my nails are so short, to try and show you if your nails are longer or if you're using a tip of any sort or acrylics and you want to use the French nail strips, what you do here. Just let that dry really quick. Okay, so once that's dry, you would, again, just decide where you want that French to line up at, and you can kind of use the side to decide whether or not it's too long or too short here. Okay, so what I'm going to show you, and again, my nail beds are just, they're short, so let's pretend this time that I did not trim it. Okay, we're going to just pretend, because my nail beds are just really, really short, and it's hard to explain about a longer nail bed when I don't have a longer nail bed. Okay, so let's pretend I did not trim this at all. So if I were to put it down here, and this is the actual strip before you take it out, look how much French is on there. Now we have too much, right? So all you're going to do is, instead of lining it up against the bottom down here, you're going to use the side and decide where you want it. Okay, so you'd remove your strip. This time I'm not going to cut it in half just because I'm using the full nails. So you don't have to cut them in half if you have longer nails. And I'm going to decide where I want the French to lay from the side. So if I want it to cover like all the white that's showing, or the different, again, the color, the transition from your natural nail to the tip, where there's no nail underneath it, just start from the side instead. And then smooth it over your nail. Make sure it's nice and smooth. There's no bubbles. I'm trying to look through my camera, I'm sorry. And if you get it to where it's not perfect, you can lift it up and re-smooth. You want to just be gentle so you don't tear the strip. Okay, so once you've got it on there, now what I wanted to show you again is this does not line up all the way down, because again, we're pretending like I did not trim it. Okay, it was just how this is, but it wasn't, say, long enough to come all the way down to your cuticle, and you really can't tell. I mean, it's there. Let me see if I can get it to focus a little better. There's space there You know, there's like a couple millimeters maybe of space between my cuticle and the strip, and you can't see it. So again, fold this over. Trying to work out any little crinkles or bubbles here, which I'm going to end up having because I put on my tip. Sorry. Let me get this excess off and then I'll work on that a little bit. So just smooth it out, and you're going to want to fold it over the nail, the tip of your nail. And then you can file off the rest of it, the excess. You always want to file in one direction. So I'm lifting it away from my finger and going down, lift away, go down. So I'm only, even though it might look like I'm going up and down, I'm only hitting the nail when I go downward. And that'll again just make it to where you don't have rigid edges everywhere. Because if you have the rigid edges, you can snag them on something and it can pull your whole strip off. So realistically, when you're not trying to do this on camera and you can see everything you're doing, it won't take this long. I'm trying to look through the little camera lens. I don't know if you guys can hear my kids show in the background, but it almost sounds like Tarzan. It's like, oh. Pretty funny. Okay. We've got all the little excess edges off. There's our French tip. And it is, I mean, it's a drastic difference in when you've got, you know, real short nails, you're going to have just a little bit showing. When you've got your longer nails, you're going to have a lot showing. But as you can see, it's still lined up in about the same, I don't know if you can tell if that's going to show you at all, but about the same amount of distance down my finger on both nails. It just looks a lot longer. So if you don't like it this long, if you're using, you know, acrylics or the dips or however, if this is all tips, you can file some of this down and make it shorter. That's totally up to you how you want your finished look to be. You can shape these however you want the full nail strips. So that is it on our French tutorial. I hope that helps. But if you just don't like, you know, the bottom line is if you don't like the way it looks when you match it up to the bottom of your cuticle, if you don't like how much is going to be on there, then just use it from the side, and you can trim your clear down if you need to, or you can move your clear up a little bit if you need, and just decide from the side and smooth it over the top of your nail. That's it. Thanks so much for watching.